Welcome to today's live Ielts class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had a great week and I hope you're all looking forward to a fantastic weekend. Hi Jainiel, hi Kyber, hi Harwinder, welcome members. Everyone, this is a members chat class, but everybody is welcome to watch. And there's lots of learning to be had in this class today. We are looking at Ielts writing task 2, writing a band 9 essay finish. This is an essay that we started yesterday and that we're going to finish today. If you missed yesterday's class, don't worry. We will look at the question, we'll look at our introductory paragraph, and everybody will be able to follow along. This lesson, everyone, is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic Ielts success. Please check us out there. The website looks like this with the blue background. You can click this big red Join Now button to get access to our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it's well worth it. And for general Ielts, it's this green background here. You can click this big red button there. And for general Ielts, please visit us at gieltshelp.com. Welcome, Rashika. Hi, Bakrat. So again, good to see many of our students joining in. We'll get going on our lesson right away. You can get our apps, Academic Ielts Help and General Ielts Help, from your app stores, and you can link our apps to your website so you can learn from the same account. It's really good. Hi, Rumi. Hi, Papula. Let me check the voice for you, Papula. Thank you for letting me know about that. Okay, just 2 seconds. Okay, so here we go. Just a second. Okay, Papula, you should be able to hear me now. Hi, Rumi. You should be able to hear me now. Welcome, Carolina, our moderator. That's great to have you in the class. It's fantastic. Good morning, June. Okay, so let's get going with the essay. Oh yeah, by the way, if you have questions, just send me an email to Adrian at aehelp.com. So that's where you can get a hold of me. All right, let's take a look now at the essay that we started yesterday. So here was the original question. And let's review that right now. Rumi, let me know if there's still no sound, because there should be. I just activated the sound on the General English Help channel as well. So here we go with the question. So Ielts Task 2 writing. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Many jobs require ongoing training and research to stay competitive in a rapidly evolving world of information and technology. Some believe that it is the responsibility of businesses to pay for this education for their staff, while others feel it is up to the individual to advance their job skills. Discuss both views and give your opinion. All right. So this is our question here. And yesterday we wrote the introduction. So we'll just review the introduction. And I know that some of the other members finished their introductions as well. So I'm going to take a look at that now after we review the introduction. Okay. So this was my introductory paragraph here. It starts with a hook, okay? So billions of dollars are spent each year worldwide for ongoing job training. Either companies or individuals invest money to acquire new skills so that they can be competitive and productive. Some people feel the cost of training is up to businesses as they can profit more, while others feel individuals ought to pay since they can earn more. I believe that the responsibility of payment for job training should depend on whether or not the skill is specific to the position in the company. Okay, great. So let's take a look at what our members have. Okay. All right. Buckrat writes, millions of individuals sign up for job training and the cost is billions of dollars every year. Numerous jobs need ongoing training and research to stay competitive in a society of quickly emerging information and tech. Few people believe it's the responsibility of businesses to offer their employees such training. Opponents think individuals should learn by themselves. In my opinion, organizations should provide financial assistance to their employees to learn new skills to get advantages for their company and growth. Okay, so Buckrat, you're kind of taking one side here, which is okay. And you have a lot of just paraphrasing of the question there, which is fine for a band 6.5, maybe a band 7, but you need to do more than just paraphrase in the introduction, okay? Janelle writes, millions of employees are learning new skills to stay competitive in the world. Both individuals or employees spend money on this education to prosper. Therefore, it is an important topic to discuss for better society and business. Okay. All right. Hi, Nair. Welcome to the class. Okay, Janelle, you have a little bit of unnecessary information there. Okay. So you can take some words out. So Janelle, what you want to do when you have your introduction like this is read it over a couple of times, check to see where you can be a bit more concise, okay? So where you can say the same idea, but in a simpler, kind of shorter way, okay? So for high band scores in the Ielts, again, students, for band 8, band 9 especially, you need to have good quality writing, and it has to be concise writing. Concise means saying it in a short as way as possible. Now, that does mean minimum 250 words, usually more. Okay, so band 8, band 9 is usually closer to 350 words for task 2. And that's true for general and for academic IELTS. So both general and academic task 2s are longer than 250 words for the high band scores. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at what Kyber has written. Okay, Kyber writes, making payment for ongoing training demands a great amount of money. Both organizations and each person spend billions of dollars on professional development courses to be productive and produce quality work for their businesses. While certain individuals ascertain that companies are responsible to pay for such courses, I believe that it is up to the employees for excellence and a quality career. Okay, so Kyber, that looks pretty good. The ideas are okay. You're taking one side. I'm going to try something a little bit new here, Kyber, with what you have written. Okay, so let me see if I can do this for us. Okay, here we go. So this is the start of Kyber's essay here. Let me see if I can do something fancy here for us this morning. Okay. All right, let's see how well you can see that. Yeah, you can see that pretty well. Okay, so I don't need to do too much there. Let's make it a little bit bigger. All right, so let's make it 14. Okay, so this is the beginning of Kyber's. So this I can do now, Kyber, because of this new kind of setup. So I can give you some feedback here. And you know what, Kyber? I'm going to grab the rest of what you wrote. So this is, I'm going to edit this for everyone in real time so you can see how mistakes are made and how mistakes can be corrected when you get some expert help here. So bear with me. Let me see if I can do this the way that I expect to be able to do this. And again, you can get this type of editing on the websites. So on aehelp.com or glshelp.com. I'll show you where after I do this. So here, let's do this. So let's edit this, okay? All right. So Kyber, here is your introductory paragraph, okay? So making payment for ongoing training demands a great amount of money. The first correction that I would make here is I would write S, okay? And I would say because it is ongoing payments. Okay, so there's multiple payments here. Let me shrink this a little bit. You should still be able to see it clearly so you can see the comments. Okay, all right. And I will show you how an IELTS examiner actually looks and thinks about a piece of writing when they're evaluating this. Okay, and Kyber, I hope you're okay with me doing this. If you're not, let me know right now. Okay, but this is how an IELTS examiner that's trained well will assess your introductory paragraph and your level of writing here, okay? All right. So making payments for ongoing training demands a great amount of money. The reason why is because of ongoing training, Kyber, so that would be a plural, right? So both organizations and each person spend billions of dollars on professional development courses. All right, there's a couple of mistakes here. Can anybody tell me what the mistake is in this here? So if I look at this sentence by Kyber, can anybody tell me the mistake until this point? Or there's actually a couple mistakes that I recognize. So both organizations and each person spend billions of dollars. Okay, so there's a mistake here. There's actually a couple of mistakes here. Can anybody tell me what it is? So Janelle says there's a subject and verb agreement. No, I think it's fine. Kyber says instead of thousands. Carolina says maybe it has something to do with the plurals. Yeah, I think Carolina, you're closer. Yeah, Rajveer, you're right. So Rajveer says both organizations and people. Yeah, that's right, Harwinder, each person. So see, you can do a lot with peer review, everyone, as well, because Rajveer and Harwinder identified the mistake. So each person does not spend billions of dollars on professional development. So this would have to be people or individuals. Okay, so it's individuals that spend money. Okay, so okay, so maybe my comment there's a little bit small, but the idea here, let me see if I can make this just a little tiny bit smaller so you can see it all. So this kind of mistake, Kyber, is a bigger mistake because you have the word or you have the words each person, and this is a coherence mistake. It's like each one of us spends billions of dollars. It's easy to misunderstand this, and this is considered a coherence mistake. It's this kind of mistake that you have to be especially careful about, students, because coherence mistakes will drop the score of the essay, especially if there's multiple of them, because the examiner says, hey, this makes your communication confusing, okay? All right, so spend billions of dollars on professional development courses to be productive and produce quality work for their business. There are a couple of mistakes here as well. Can anybody tell me what is the mistake, or what are the mistakes in this part here that I just highlighted? Okay. So again, this is what you really need to do to improve your writing band score and to improve your writing skills, is go over your writing step by step, identify your mistakes. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So Rajveer says we don't need, it's wordy. Okay. So one of the points that Rajveer and Harwinder are immediately identifying is that it reads really wordy. So spend billions of dollars on professional development courses. On professional courses, so this is not needed. Okay, it's understood from the context that it's for development. Okay, so not needed. Wordy, and you have to reduce wordiness. Okay. All right, and there's another mistake here. So spend billions of dollars on professional courses to be productive and produce quality work for their business. Okay. What's the next mistake here? Okay, maybe you'll identify it. It's this part here. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, we can finish the sentence here, and it basically does not, yeah, exactly, June. So very good, June. So June identified that just as I was correcting it. So June said, you don't need the productive and produce quality work. It's redundant. Exactly. So this is redundant and wordy. Redundant means it's just repetition of ideas, and it's wordy. Okay. All right. All right, so now, while certain individuals ascertain that companies are responsible to pay for such courses, I believe that it is up to employees for excellence and quality of work. Okay, let me show you. There's a quick mistake here. This individuals is a small I. Okay, so this would be a capitalization mistake. Now, this isn't a huge mistake, but if you make lots of these mistakes, it is a problem. Hi, Sammy. Okay. So capitalization, okay, and then there's another mistake here that I'll show you. So ascertain that companies are responsible to pay for such courses. I believe that it is up to the employees for excellence and quality career. Okay, there's a pretty big mistake in the last part of this introductory paragraph. What is the mistake here? So what are the mistakes here at the end of this introductory paragraph? Okay, can anybody tell me that? So I believe that it is up to employees for excellence and quality career. Okay, read the whole sentence. While certain individuals ascertain that companies are responsible to pay for such courses, I believe that it is up to the employees for excellence. Yeah, very good. So Rajveer says that there's parallel grammar that's missing here. Okay. And Carolina says there's a bit of lack of clarity here as well. Atmal says it's maybe a little bit weak as well. Yeah, so we've got a couple of key mistakes here. Kyber, okay? And Kyber, by the way, don't feel bad that it's got so many mistakes. A lot of students have many mistakes in their writing as well. I'll give you a band score at the end here also, okay? So there's a few mistakes here, and this is where you want to be strong, Kyber, because this is your thesis, right? So your thesis statement has to be the best sentence of your essay, because if it's bad, then it's really confusing to the reader what they're going to read, okay? So this has to be a much clearer thesis, okay? The start is okay, minus this little mistake with the I. So while certain individuals ascertain that companies are responsible to pay for such courses, I believe it is up to employees to fund their learning for better quality and more salary. Okay. So this would be the first correction that I would make here. Okay, so let me explain the corrections here. I believe that it is up to employees to fund their learning. Here we have to create more clarity for what we're talking about, okay? So clarity is needed here, okay? And for better quality and higher salary work, okay? All right, so here I made these corrections. Yeah, so Buckrat is asking a very good question, okay? So Buckrat is asking, does IELTS examiners check writing tasks like you? Buckrat, the quick answer is yes. They don't make the correction, okay? So if I were the examiner and I were checking Kyber's writing right now, I obviously wouldn't do all of these comments and corrections, but I would recognize all of these mistakes very quickly while I was reading. So Buckrat, you're probably thinking, and some of you maybe are thinking like, well, but Adrian, for the IELTS examiner, doesn't this take a really long time? So let me show you how the IELTS examiner will look at this. So the IELTS examiner will see Kyber's candidate number, okay? So candidate number, so Kyber's candidate number will be something like this, okay? And then they'll have something like coherence, okay? They'll have wordiness, spelling, grammar, accuracy, grammar range. Okay, so they'll have a sheet like this, okay, or a marking rubric like this. And then what they'll do is they'll just mark, right? So 1, comma, 1, comma, 1. So every time they find a mistake, they'll indicate it with a check mark or a number. Okay, when they see a spelling mistake like individuals, they'll mark it like that as they're going through. And it's very quick to do this. So at the end, they'll end up with a certain number of marks, and then they'll know that, okay, I have 20 marks here. That means it's minus 3 band scores. And so this would be an overall band score of 6 so far. Okay, so band, I would probably mark it a band 5.5 Kyber, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, so they're not going to correct it. Obviously, that would take them forever, and it would make your exam much more expensive because they don't need to give you feedback, right? But they do recognize all of the mistakes in real time, and even if they miss 1 or 2 mistakes, they'll catch 90% of them. So they're trained in editing and proofreading, just like I am. Okay. All right. So again, going back to this introductory paragraph, Kyber, here. The higher salary work, I would say parallel grammar missing, so parallel grammar needed, okay? And the original sentence here that Kyber had, so I believe that it is up to employees for excellence and quality. What's the biggest mistake with that thesis, members? Sammy, Nari, Rumi, you can jump in there as well and let me know. So what is the biggest mistake with that thesis? So I believe it is up to the employees for excellence and better quality work. There's a very, very crucial or critical mistake with that thesis. What is it? Okay, can anybody tell me? You have to recognize this kind of mistake, Kyber, and you have to correct it when you're writing an essay. And this is one of the reasons that I decided not to go on just one side, but mention both sides. Yeah, Rajveer, very good. So Rajveer says that these are not mutually exclusive points. Yeah, exactly. So excellence and quality are kind of the same. Okay, so I would say that excellence and quality, okay, these are not clearly separate points for the essay, okay? So they're confusing because it just kind of seems like one point that's the same point, okay? All right, so again, students, if you want to get this kind of marking done for your essay writing, what I recommend doing is going to our website, okay, and then in your My Student account, if you click on the Task 1 and Task 2 buttons here, these green buttons, okay, then you can send us your essays here. So hi, I want to send you my essay. So it will do a word count. You can submit it. It's a paid service. It's well worth it. And you get that kind of editing and feedback that I was just showing with Kyber's introductory paragraph, so that you know where your mistakes are and so that you can correct those mistakes, okay? So I highly recommend using that service on our website. It's very, very useful and students are always happy with it. So, okay. So, let's go back to the lesson and work on the body paragraphs, okay? All right. So just so we can kind of see the page a little bit better, Kyber, I'm going to remove all of that. Let's put it into a new one here. We'll get rid of that. Okay. And then we'll go back to the essay here. So again, whose responsibility is it to pay for the job training and development for people? Okay, so here's my essay. So you can see that my essay kind of takes a two-sided approach here because it makes sense logically. So this is my thesis statement here. I believe that the responsibility of payment for job training should depend on whether or not the skill is specific to the position in the company. Okay, and here, before that, you see in my background, I say, some people feel the cost of training is up to businesses as they can profit more, while others feel individuals ought to pay. So here, I'm going to get going on my body paragraph 1. Okay, and body paragraph 1, what do you think it's going to be about? Okay. Yeah, Rajveer, Grammarly, absolutely. It's a very useful tool. I highly recommend it to anybody, especially when you're, learning your writing. Okay, so body 1, what should I target here? So what should I be working on? Kyber, you're very, very welcome. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to discuss both sides. I have a very clear opinion. I said that the payment for job training depends or should depend on what that training actually is. What do you think I should start with here? What should be the topic of my first body paragraph? Okay. So Mal, I already have my introduction. This is my introductory paragraph here. So I don't need an introduction to anything. Okay, so Rajveer says payment by businesses. Yeah. So here I have some people feel the cost of training is up to businesses as they can profit more. So I should start with that one. Okay. Carolina says maybe start with the employee payment. Carolina, I think that would be a good idea as well if I started with that up here. But here I mentioned that secondly. While others feel while others feel individuals ought to pay since they can earn more. Here I'm going to start with businesses, but yeah, I mean, Carolina, if I were to write this essay again, I might start with the employee payment because it does seem a little bit more general, right? Like if we're learning general skills, okay? But I think we can do either one here. So body one, okay? All right. So this is what I need to discuss in this first body paragraph. Businesses have to pay for job-specific training. Okay. All right. So the first sentence that I need here is my topic sentence that introduces this idea and gives some more details. So go ahead, everyone. Write these sentences. Sammy, Rumi, Rajveer, Carolina. Write this, okay? All right, so let's write this topic sentence, all right? All right, so there is my topic sentence, okay? So certainly a lot of workshops are directed towards very specific skills for employees in niche careers, and this should be paid for by the employer as they stand to benefit the most. Okay. Let's see what others have come up with. Rajveer says organizations can increase their revenues when they have a workforce with up-to-date skills. Okay, sure, Rajveer, I think it's a bit repetitive. Okay, so you need a bit more definition or a bit more clarity there. All right. Now, following the topic comes the explanation. Okay. All right. And now I need to explain to my reader what I mean by the fact that some workshops are very specific skills for employees in niche careers, okay? And then why this should be paid for. So I need to, by the employer. So I need to explain this in more clarity, okay? So All right. So again, keep in mind, everyone, that I am showing you how to write a Band 8 or a Band 9 essay. So if some of these words are new or challenging, don't worry about it. Write it down and learn them, okay? So there are jobs in the medical field. I'm going to change that to medicine, construction, and software, and computers, let's say, that require skills which may only be used at one place of employment, such as operating a proprietary piece of hardware. Proprietary means that it's not common. It's designed for one single use here, okay? All right, meanwhile, the topic sentence by June: a number of vocational trainings are designed for specific occupations, and their fees ought to be covered by companies since they are the primary beneficiaries. That is a beautiful topic sentence, June. That would be considered a Band 9. So when I read that sentence, June, I can see that there are no mistakes in grammar use in coherence. In fact, your use of vocabulary is excellent, and the overall composition is very good. Okay, primary beneficiaries is an excellent collocation in this case, so that's really, really good. Okay, I like it. All right, so here's my explanation. There are jobs in medicine, construction, and computers that require skills which may only be used at one place of employment, such as operating a proprietary piece of hardware. And then here I need an example. Okay, so the example will help to strengthen my explanation. Okay, so when you hear your teachers for IELTS say supporting points, then this is what you have to think about: explanations and examples. Okay, so, and by the way, everyone, we will have a grammar lesson coming up after this lesson in a little bit. Talk more about that later. And so you're going to be able to enhance that as well. Okay. All right. So let's write an example. So what are we talking about here? Okay. For instance, an X-ray technician may need to learn the way to operate a new X-ray machine that the hospital has recently procured. Clearly, the hospital should be the one to foot the bill for this training, as they can give better service and make more money afterwards. Okay. So I keep thinking about the original question and what I've written so far when I'm writing this example. Okay, so here, for instance, an X-ray technician. So an X-ray technician is the person that is working the X-ray machine in the hospital. Okay, it's not a nurse. It's not a doctor usually. Sometimes it is. But that specific job is called X-ray technician. So obviously, IELTS examiners are looking for lexical resource as well. So if you write doctor, they'll be like, okay, it's not bad, but you don't have the specific vocabulary, okay? Here I just thought about the first explanation, or the first piece of the explanation in medicine. So there are jobs in medicine. Let's take out the, it's not needed there, in medicine. So I just thought about some jobs in medicine, like a nurse or a doctor, or if I know a more specific job like X-ray technician, then I can say X-ray technician, right? And then I thought, well, X-ray technicians, they work with a variety of machines. primarily the X-ray machine. Maybe that has a specific fancy name, but you don't have to have that level to get the Band 8, Band 9. Okay. And then I thought about, okay, and it's visualization here, right? You really need to see the information that you're writing. So I visualize this X-ray technician has to go for a 1-week training course to operate the X-ray machine ZY2000 that the hospital just bought for $500,000. And, you know, for me to pay for that, if I'm the X-ray technician, I'd be like, excuse me, that's not fair. It should be the hospital. It's their machine. It's a unique machine. Clearly the hospital should pay for that. So, for instance, an X-ray technician may need to learn the way to operate a new X-ray machine that the hospital has recently procured. Procured means purchased for the company, okay? Clearly, the hospital should be the one to foot the bill. Foot the bill means pay for this training, okay? So foot the bill for this training as they can give better service and make more money afterwards, all right? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to everybody. All right. Okay. Now let's see what some of you have. Okay, so Sammy says, in my bank, I always get training for new products and the latest technology. Through this, I get more input and perform well and provide better business to the bank as well as higher pay. Yeah, Sammy, now if you're writing, Sammy, in body paragraph 1 here, I would somehow indicate to the reader that the bank is paying you for training which is specific to the bank. And I think the bank is a really good example too, Sammy, because banks have their own kind of software, their own kind of internal systems. So it makes sense that you're not paying for that training, because if you leave that bank, there's a good chance that you'll never use that kind of software or that kind of a system ever again, okay, or a very small chance. So try to think about some specific training, Sammy, that you've done at the bank where clearly it's the bank that's going to get the most benefit. Okay. All right. Mal says, since companies know better what they need to teach for their vision, they can stand to afford the training necessary for their employees, like training employees to operate a specific computer program. Okay, Mal, that's good. Watch your punctuation. Okay, but you're on the right track, I think. Okay, Rashika says, in my country, governments organize special workshops annually for nurses to introduce new procedures to work effectively. Okay, Rashika, that's good. What kind of a procedure? And it's specific to the hospital system in your country, which is government owned and operated, right? So they will always profit, okay? June writes, for example, a welder in a pipeline manufacturing company has to acquire novel welding techniques to produce quality steel for operation, and obviously it is justified for his employer to pay for his theoretical and in-field training because the business owner can provide better products to clients and thus obtain more products. Yeah, June, very good. So the right idea. Okay. Now I'm going to have a connecting sentence here. Okay, and my connecting sentence has to conclude this paragraph and has to lead into the next paragraph, okay? All right. So okay, and then comes body 2. So body 2 is the same idea, but here I'm going to introduce the other side of this coin, which is individual should pay for generalized skills in the workforce. Okay, so Again, anytime that you're doing this at home, it's good to read, especially from your thesis, and then reread your body paragraph and then start your second body paragraph, okay? So I believe that the responsibility of payment for job training should depend on whether or not the skill is specific to the position in the company. Certainly, a lot of workshops are directed towards very specific skills for employees in niche careers, and this should be paid for by the employer as they stand to benefit the most. There are jobs in medicine, construction, and computers that require skills which may only be used at one place of employment, such as operating a proprietary piece of hardware. For instance, an X-ray technician may need to learn the way to operate a new X-ray machine that the hospital has recently procured. Clearly, the hospital should be the one to foot the bill for this training, as they can give better service and make more money afterwards. This is the case where I believe that the company should pay for ongoing career development. However, there are many skills that can be applied to a wide range of jobs, and this kind of education needs to be paid for by each individual. Again, there are skills in medicine, construction, and computers that are industry standards, and a worker needs to use regardless of their place of employment. Okay, so notice the strong coherence and connection here. So now I'm kind of writing along here to provide further clarity, okay, for you, and just kind of this fluency. So I have my topic sentence with the however, and then I have my explanation with this next sentence, and then now my example, okay? Okay, and again, the example, to write a good example, everyone, try to use or reuse the previous example for this situation or this context, okay? Okay, so So the same X-ray technician may need to update their knowledge of anatomy. Okay, anatomy is understanding the human body, the bones, the muscles, the tissues. Okay, so the same X-ray technician may need to update their knowledge of anatomy in light of new research, okay, or according to standards. You don't have to, so some people might be thinking, yeah, that's great, Adrian, but I don't know expressions in English like in light of new research. You don't have to write that if you don't know that. You can just write update their knowledge of current anatomy or of current physiology, or update their knowledge of the human body, okay, if you want to be simpler. So there are simple ways to express ideas as well. If you have the vocabulary, use it. If you don't have that vocabulary, it's still okay. It's more important that you get the right idea in the right sequence or in the right thinking, okay? So in light of new research, in order to provide quality work, and this responsibility and this expense is a bit better because we're talking about money, and this expense ought to rest with the individual as they can use it at any point in their career, regardless of their employer. Okay, so just giving a lot of clarity here. All right, so same X-ray technician. Okay, everyone, I've got a little bit more time to finish the conclusion, so I'll do that, but I will take a look at a couple of more responses here, okay? Okay, Rajveer writes, nonetheless, there are various generic skills that enable individuals to stand the chance to get employment in various fields, and individuals should be held responsible to pay for these. Rajveer, very good. I made a couple of corrections that I think make your writing a bit more natural, but overall very good, okay? Sammy writes, notwithstanding certain skill development programs should we be paid for by the individuals where they can get some kind of certification so that they can use those skills for various companies. Also, it will improve their employability, okay? So weightage for their resume, Sammy, it's a little bit awkward. It will make their resumes stand out, or it will make their resumes better, okay? But to write it even more clearly or clearer, Sammy, it will make them more employable, okay? All right, and then comes the conclusion, okay? So here we go with the conclusion, okay? All right. So conclusion. In conclusion, okay, whether the worker or the business pays for training, depends on the skills provided by the workshop. If the company benefits most, then it should pay, but if it is the individual that gains the most, then they should pay. They here means he or she. I believe that this is fair and leads to the most viable results in the end for the ongoing success of employees and employers. Okay. All right. So this is my conclusion here. Okay. So I'm kind of restating my main points of the essay from the thesis. I'm strengthening my argument, and I'm giving a take-home message. So in conclusion, whether the worker or the business pays for training depends on skills, should depend on, okay? Should depend on the skills provided by the workshop. If the company benefits most, then it should pay. But if the individual gains the most, then they should pay. I believe that it is fair, and I believe that this is fair and leads to the most viable results in the end for ongoing success of employees and employers. Fatma, welcome to our group of members. Okay. Rajveer writes, in conclusion, whether the employee or organizations bear the cost of job training should depend on the nature of the training. Rajveer, very nice. Beautiful use of English and great paraphrasing there. Okay, so here's my full essay. I'll just read it from start to finish. Always read, review your essays. So billions of dollars are spent each year worldwide for ongoing job training. Either companies or individuals invest money to acquire new skills so that they can be competitive and productive. Some people feel the cost of training is up to businesses as they can profit more, while others feel individuals ought to pay since they can earn more. I believe that the responsibility of payment for job training should depend on whether or not the skill is specific to the position in the company. Certainly, a lot of workshops are directed towards very specific skills for employees in niche careers, and this should be paid for by the employer as they stand to benefit the most. There are jobs in medicine, construction, and computers that require skills which may only be used at one place of employment, such as operating a proprietary piece of hardware. For instance, an X-ray technician may need to learn the way to operate a new X-ray machine that the hospital has recently procured. Clearly, the hospital should be the one to foot the bill for this training, as they can give better service and make more money afterwards. This is the case where I believe that the company should pay for ongoing career development. However, there are many skills that can be applied to a wide range of jobs, and this kind of education needs to be paid for by each individual. Again, there are skills in medicine, construction, and computers that are industry standards and a worker needs to use regardless of their place of employment. The same X-ray technician may need to update their knowledge of anatomy in light of new research in order to provide quality work. And this expense ought to rest with the individual as they can use it at any point in their career, regardless of their employer. In conclusion, whether the worker or the business pays for training should depend on the skills provided by the workshop. If the company benefits most, then it should pay. But if the individual gains the most, then they should pay. I believe that this is fair and leads to the most viable results in the end for the ongoing success of employees and employers. Whew, that was a mouthful, but that's the essay, okay? So, and it makes sense. So that reads well. That would definitely get you a Band 8, Band 9, no question, okay, for this task 2. We will post this on our YouTube channel, the essay, the question, so check back there later, okay, students? I hope you enjoyed this class, and it was fun for me to try this new kind of live real-time editing as well with your work, Kyber. Next time, I promise I will do the same with other students, so I'll take your writing and I'll stick it into Microsoft Word and do some editing, proofreading, show you where you have some mistakes, okay? Again, everyone, make sure to check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, okay? And gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. That's where you can get editing that I was showing earlier in the class. Our academic IELTS website looks like this. And it's got these red buttons. You can click those to join our premium package. And our general IELTS looks like this. You can click that big red button there. I will be back in about 30 minutes, students, with a grammar lesson, okay? So we're going to be learning grammar as well. And I'm going to show you some interesting and clever ways to understand grammar. So come back in 30 minutes. Join me for that. That will be an all chat class. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and hopefully I will see you soon.